Okay, so new research out of the UK finds adults who were class bullies in childhood made more money than their peers once they hit their 40s. So, do we need to reframe how we perceive bullies?
Oh
Mel,
my God!
I'm gonna start with you first. This is a loaded question.
Andrea, this question is so loaded.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we begin with this one? If there weren't so many examples in real life of especially men who clearly were probably bullies when they were young or are exhibiting bullying behavior being so darn successful. I'm looking at you, Donald Trump. I think it's so hard to raise kids, but I do think that this is partially a gendered conversation because I have a daughter. When she was in daycare, she was super firm and, in my words, assertive, confident, knew what she wanted. And I remember one of the daycare workers saying, your daughter is very bossy.
Oh no.
And she said it with a grin, and I said, I just want to stop you right there. That's not a bad word in our house. And I'll tell you why, because she's very small in frame. And I thought, one day, maybe she could be picked on. And I thought to myself, if she is the only woman in the room with a bunch of, boardroom with a bunch of men, I know my daughter's gonna be okay. Now, I say that, but also we have so much pressure on girls to be the nice girl, to be kind, to always speak kindly about people. So if a girl comes out assertive, we tend to use different words for those girls as bullies than we do boys. So I think boys, it pays off. Unfortunately, I think it pays off.
What about you, Deepa? What do you think?
I don't know. I feel it's such a nuanced topic because I understand kids who bully, they might be going through some things at home, but I also am coming from the perspective of I was severely bullied growing up. I'm not saying that I was the nicest to everyone, but there's a next level of bullying that happens, and I just saw the impact that it had on me in the workplace, in the sense of because I was bullied so much, I kind of played that like fawn character of like avoid conflict at all costs, never stand up for myself because I'm so afraid of what the reaction to me is going to be. And that transferred to me in the workplace. I could never stand up for myself. I always said yes because I felt like if I said no, the reaction to me was going to be like, well, who do you think you are, right? So it led to a dark place for me at work at some point in my life, and it took a very long time for me to stand up and say, hey, if I say no, if I stand up for myself, that's not being aggressive, that's not being mean, that is what I need to do for myself. So it's a very different perspective.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I wonder if we need to reframe not what bully is. I think we all kind of have a loose idea of the archetypal bully, like from the movies, but reframe the idea of like aggressive behavior. Because I don't think aggression, I don't think confidence, I don't think high achieving necessarily need to be bad words. And those were all words used in this article, sort of associated with the bullies that then go on to make good money. Because I wonder if you can be all of those things while still being empathetic to people. I think that's where the problem comes in, when you are all those things, confident, aggressive, but at the cost of someone else's empathy. That's like, how do we fix that?
No, I know. It's just, listen, I was thinking about this topic really long and hard because I know that there are a lot of children who have ended their lives, unalived themselves because of a bully and the bullying that they received online or with a kid in their class. So it's hard for me because I was bullied a little bit by one particular girl. We called her the Gooch, not to her face, because we were dumb, but we weren't stupid. We called her the Gooch. And one day she decided that I was the focus of the target of her aggression. And in my household, I was always taught, you stand up for yourself. You stand up, you do not come home unless you stood up for yourself. So I stood up to her. And that gave me so much confidence because it took all of the mystique and all the fear I had about this girl was gone. Because I'm like, I stood up to you and I'm still standing. And then I felt like, well, no one else is gonna be able to bully me. So it was the opposite experience for me. I was like, you know what? I do have power. I don't have to listen to her. And she's not that strong of a person. And then later on in life, I found out through a friend of ours, because we all went to school, that this girl was struggling big time in her household. And she, of course, was too young to know how to deal with it. So she was bringing that aggression to us, but we didn't understand that. And also, the school didn't understand that, the principals and the teachers. And instead of, kind of taking this girl and trying to figure out what the problem is, they just suspended her all the time, which made the situation even worse. So I think when it comes to children, it's a delicate balance, but you're right. When it comes to, when you're an adult, sometimes those are the people who get things done because they have zero fear. And that fearlessness allows you to get things done and get the money that you want, get people out of your way. So I don't know. It's a struggle with me because I know people have really suffered.
The other day in conversation with my family, this random thing came up because a lot of our family members have kids for the first time, and the conversation came up of, when your kids go to school, would you rather them be the bully or be bullied? And I'm like, I've never thought of that before
Yeah.
because on one side, you know, someone might be a bit aggressive and you're hearing these things where they might be more successful in life, but it comes at a cost of hurting somebody else, or be bullied and be the one to receive that type of, you know, the feelings of not feeling great about yourself. So to me, I was like, I never thought about that, but it is a really interesting question.
I know we have to go on to the next topic, but as a former educator, I will just caution, labeling any kids that young anything as a bully or as a victim has really long-term and long-lasting consequences. So I say be careful.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
that too. Yeah.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.